It's SSA going up against South America, hoping to get either a series win or just to get that game win, depending on which side of the coin you find yourself flipping.
So 70% of people think that the club are going to take this one. And already Stumpy is impressed with the designs that we're seeing on this pitch. Will you also be impressed with the mechanics and the gameplay and the style of these 6 players?
I certainly hope so. Starting off then with the club going forward immediately into that blue half, hoping that they're going to be able to get something going early on in this game, try to upset Bravado as much as they can. An immediate push from KV1, the man that yesterday you identified, or that we rather identified, was being a little bit slow, his defense being somewhat grounded, but Astromik working his way around, keeping a Happy Meal grounded as well, so he wasn't able to get the block on that shot.
There are some lovely card designs in this one. Daisy, I think, was the one that you were impressed by, and I think Astromik as well has got a little colourful number on his Fennec, which is looking quite pretty, so not afraid to show off these players. The club do take their early lead just to settle any nerves that they may have. Bravado have to be able to roll with those punches. They are going to be conceding here, and they will be a little bit slower at times. But it was actually the early game, they were a little bit better against Renegades. It was towards the end of each individual game that they'd start to fall behind. So the fact they've gone behind early, not ideal for them. We'll see how they're able to step back up and deal with it. I really want to see a performance from To Die For. You know, he is the hyped man from this region. If you are the MVP, you have to play like it. Oh my goodness, KV1 just asked a massive question of Lost, who had an answer. Then there was a big pinch. Good attack from Bravado, just not quite to be.
Yeah, hoping a little bit that Viper sting can come in and be threatening on the side of Bravado. Like you said, To Die For, he is the one who has done such a fantastic job in SSA going through this entire season so far. He was the MVP, and that is no mean feat, no matter the region that you're coming from.
Happy Meal's going to take this one over the top almost with KV1. That's a pre-jump. To Die For is coming in now, so as we're seeing, Bravado have stepped up the pace as they've gone along in this one. Happy Meal gets charged down by Astromik. To Die For's just waiting for Lost, who's there, over the top from To Die For. Good defending from Bravado so far. If To Die For gets this next touch, but the boost starvation is starting to happen. Daisy has to win this race. The man who scored the first goal in SSA RLCS history yesterday. It was a good finish as well in game number 4. To Die For just gonna let that one bounce. Happy Meal charges up against him. Really impressed by Bravado after conceding that early goal.
Chance though, as we see an attack coming in from KV1, the man who's got all of that 1v1 prowess, and you see him taking to the sky and nodding to his teammates like, yeah, I'm feeling it today. This is the one, the flip reset over Daisy, into the double tap round the side of To Die For. Finally, does get secured by Lost, the man who yesterday was rocking that 80% gold participation.
And I mean that sort of thread of mechanics that KV1 just offered up. It's something that Bravado may not have experienced coming up against before. You know, everybody in any region can hit flip resets, anyone can score goals, but chaining them together and having a teammate that then follows suit in such an expert way is something you have to learn to deal with. Bravado are here to learn to deal with exactly that. Strummer's going to put that one into the corner. The club putting on more attack. They'll be really enjoying themselves so far right now. And over here on this lovely stream, To Die For gets to the side. Happy Meal is going to take a touch. Bravado again, not unable to get a couple of touches in defense, but when the club come forward, they just look like they're putting on a lot of pressure.
It's wrestling that control away as much as he can. Daisy saving that one away from the backboard. Going down like Spider-Man, was able to get it away from that side. Touchdown from Lost, trying to be the man assisting instead of just scoring every single time. Yesterday, he managed to get over 1 goal per game on average, with the average being about 0.77. He was shooting as much as he could, and he was sending them through as well.
Only a couple of goals in it so far. Bravado can get one in this first game. It would really just give some confidence coursing through them. Will they be able to do it? Daisy's going forward. He's been involved a lot in this first game, and I love to see what he's doing right here. Not letting KV1 free, playing in front of the ball, going for these demos. They are playing with that confidence that we wanted from them. It's just decision-making, really, from Bravado. There was a time earlier where they could have taken a touch. There again, they could have let it drop, and they're just booming the ball away a little bit quickly. So if they can just settle those nerves, they may well be able to put some pressure on the club here.
An error or two, though, coming out from the club as well. We've seen a few times there's been a miss that comes out from KV1 where he'll just about whiff that ball. You know, he did well to set up previously, but in the sky, he hasn't looked particularly confident defensively. Offensively, sure, he got an amazing flip reset, but Lost, not quite able to sneak that one in the side, trying to get the acute angle, but somehow just managing to get a little bit too much on it. The side does go Lost at the top of Happy Meal, just flicking it as well to get it onto the sidewall, and the 100 boost gained. He's going to be going for the air dual bomb here. No, he fakes it out instead, goes low. Astromik to squeeze it back behind the defender, but that play was mostly lost.
Yeah, that was lovely from Lost there. Daisy had no idea what to do. To Die For flew in as well. It meant that Daisy was left landing in an awkward position with not really that much boost to play with, and the challenge game from the club was very strong to get their third goal in this opening game. I think it was 4-0 to Renegades in the opening game against the club yesterday.
All scored by CJ.
All scored by the big man CJ, who was just on our tail. He scored 6 in total in the series, and 4 of those were in game 1. The man, he was desperate for that first Worlds win. So my question is, can Bravado do better than that in this opening game? They've almost got themselves a goal so close, but the club are on another attack.
A way that we do see a lot of the teams when they are up against somebody who, you know, that they aren't necessarily too confident playing, as KV1 shows off his incredible confidence. He is able to, you know, they'll go for these bumps, they'll go for the demos. I think that works incredibly well. However, when it comes down to a few of the attacks just not quite going your way, you might just need to throw in something different. Those bumps and demos are great. I really, really love seeing them, but the club, they're averaging over 1 more per game than Bravado so far across the season. They are seasoned in that way.
They're experienced, but they are going to have to do some more defending here. Bravado have had a couple of looks
they have.
with these air dribbles. It's just, will they be brave enough to follow up an approach? I guess when you're 4 goals down, you can just play without any pressure or fear at all. Try and get that opening goal. The earlier they get it, the higher chance they'll have of getting that game. But they just have to grow into these series. And that's great play from Daisy. Daisy's really impressed me. Is that one going all the way in? Oh, not quite. Astromic Yamini clears it away.
Brilliant chances, though, as we saw. It is that spawn in from To Die For. Came in at a fantastic place. Yesterday, apparently, Jack tweeted that Scrubkiller thought that you were able to control where you spawned with the power of your mind.
Yeah.
So fair play to Die For there by having the willpower of a god.
To be fair to Scrub, he has a 50% hit rate, so fair play. He's pretty good.
Very true. Not too bad. Better than their win rate through the season, as far as I'm concerned, with Dignitas. But KV1 in that game looked excellent. He was, you know, a couple of errors. That's fine. When you win 4-0, I'm not looking into it too deeply. They look confident as well, you know, leaning across, getting the fist bumps going. Bravado, they lost 4-0. Sure, as long as they don't lose the series 4-0, I'm not too upset. Bear in mind, we're looking at best of 7s throughout this entire Swiss stage today.
Yeah, I mean, there can be no excuses if you win or lose a series in a best of 7. The deserving team will pretty much always win, at least 95% of the time. But there is Bravado. They're looking pretty stoic, looking chill. You know, I was wondering how they'd come into this one, if they'd be chuckling away or taking it seriously.
I mean, the vibes yesterday they were laughing, they were having fun. They know that this is a great opportunity for them. But Happy Meal in the middle, he's got the South African flag tied around his neck. He wants to be able to hold that behind him after winning that game, and ideally, you know, the series for them. But as I say, the stoicism, knowing we need to get the job done. We can't just be here for a bit of a holiday, bit of a laugh. Yeah. Let's do it. We are competitors. We want to win these against a very strong-looking club.
I mean, we're talking all about how much Bravado are desperate to get that game, but
they can earn that game like quite handily as well.
But what I was going to say was that the club do not want that to happen in a million years. This is the team that predicted they would go 3-0 through this Swiss in their pre-interview yesterday. They want to show they're a dominant force. They want to show they deserve to make it to the Spring Major. They didn't because they were 4-3'd twice in a row by Furia for a bracket reset. If they'd won that, they'd have had a tiebreaker and a chance to make it to London. So make no mistake about it, the club, they want to be up there with the very best. And against teams like Bravado, they have to put them to the sword. So there's pressure on them as well in that sense.
LAN rookies across the board, realistically, it just matters on how well you perform on any given day. And the 3 days going through for the Swiss is beating out KV1. A touch more speed, is able to beat out the defender as To Die For moves his way up, and Happy Meal does not rotate back. He really should have headed back towards the net. He saw that To Die For was moving his way forward as the shot was coming in. One of them needs to take the back seat in that position.
It's tough because you want to play as quickly as you possibly can. You don't want to be too passive and look back with regret and say, if only we'd attacked a little bit more. But that can mean that when you are beaten for pace, your teammates have backed you a little bit overly to be able to get that ball and match the pace of a team like the club. We're coming forward again. They're looking really comfortable right now. Lost, I mean, he just wants to get involved in every single attack.
And I believe, again, so far, he has. That goal participation continues to impress us. Astromic passing through the center. 2 defenders could not quite keep that one out. Bravado, their defense, starting to fall apart a touch, knowing that they are really under the hammer.
Yeah, the pressure will just continue to build. Really good experience, though, Bravado right now. You know, this is the sort of moments that you want to be experiencing. How do you talk your way out of this one? How do you step up when things are just beginning to go against you? These pre-jumps from Happy Meal are looking pretty good, but there's a lot of space on their backboard right now To Die For, though. A fantastic read. Exactly what his team needed to get themselves under a little bit of a tough situation. big boomer ball. I do think that my one critique from Bravado right now, all things considered, is that there are times they could be taking that touch, lovely fake there from to die for. They could be taking that touch in defense and play the ball out, maybe go for a 50-50. Over booming the ball seems to be just letting the club in over and over again. Now they're on the attack. Happy Meal's a bit too far forward though.
Very aggressive positioning from Daisy and Happy Meal, which I don't hate because, you know, it forced the club back into their own corner, so they had to get away from it. Strummer nearly getting an amazing dunk, can't get the goal, so instead fancy bumping to die for out of the way. Lost heading towards that corner. His shooting has been remarkable so far. KB1 trying to go for that double tap down, ends up going for the dunk, but isn't able to secure that touch on the ball. Daisy into the skies, face off against Lost, attempts to go low. The flip reset actually gained for Lost as well. Will be landing, uses it just to speed up a little bit. Lost passing central back to Astromo, back to Lost, shipping it high, but to die for stands firm.
Yeah, lovely save from to die for. He knew what the club were doing. I love the multiple passes that they threw up there. Just a really good entertaining show right now from the club. Happy Meal's bumped out the way. Daisy's flying in, but look how quickly KV1 is on them. Daisy, though, does win that challenge. Good gaming from him. Meal to the backboard. So again, Bravado have started slowly, seemed a bit overawed by the club, and then grown into the game. That seems to be the pattern that we're seeing in this series.
Yeah, hoping that they're going to be growing through in each game as well. They can take on the learning experiences. Lost up for that double tap, but again, to die for, saving Astromic, sending it just a smidge behind the Bravado defender. But look at this setup again by Lost. This man, his shooting percentage has been unbelievable, shooting around 45% so far when the average is like 30-odd. Scoring 50% more goals than the average player would. Incredible. That one, though, getting saved, Astromo can finish it. Knowing that, you know, even if Lost doesn't score, his setups are wonderful.
The club are keeping Bravado honest, though. I mean, these attacks are not particularly solo plays. I was about to say it's sustained pressure, but that is just a piece of mechanics.
Yeah, going to the ceiling to dive for, managing to pinch it away, but it falls perfectly in the way of Lost, and man, just tracing that ball, the outline, and punching it through the paper.
4-0 now for the club, and they'll be trying to get as many goals on the board as possible. They will not relent at all. So Bravado have to stand up tall and deal with that. I mean, I think that Bravado have really tried to come into this one being as quick as possible, and once or twice it's backfired. They're getting that balance. That's the hardest thing to do, right? Between attack and defense, between not giving them too much pressure and being too passive. It seems that this one's starting to get away from them, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, when you see in the middle of the camera, and you see Astromo just laughing, chatting to the coach, having a good time, Lost passing it central, and every single player on Bravado within about 5 feet of each other, or 5 Unreal units, whatever it ends up being, whatever that measurement is. 5-0 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. It's getting ugly, but there's always game 3 to come. A couple of goals really needed for Bravado just to get that confidence back, I'm sure.
The club really taking what they learned yesterday against Space Station Gaming, though. You know, I do believe that that was, in some ways, even though they lost it, the perfect opening match for them in the context of this Swiss, because they will not, you know, unless they play V1 later, it could be argued, one way or another, they will not face a tougher opponent than Space Station. So to get a couple of goals against them, they could be really looking good to make it through this Swiss.
I mean, SSG, they picked the club to fight as well. They wanted to go up against them. They needed to have the opportunity to play a good team. They said in the draft, we want to play a good team. We don't just want these free wins. We don't just want to pick a team that, you know, we're going to be able to 4-0 and go from that. And the club made SSG sweat. That was a brilliant shout from SSG as far as I'm concerned. They're able to get those opportunities, actually play through this wild card. The theory is the teams that go through the wild card, they may well be the ones that you look at to actually win the event, because they have had that tournament practice so far. They aren't just going into the bigger arena completely dry, unable to compete. So the club, with their 6th goal scored, they were beaten by SSG yesterday, but they are really taking their revenge now on Bravado. That will be 7 as well. KV1 scoring yet again. And look, they're vibing. What? And I know this is a massive question that I would hate being asked, so I apologize in advance.
Ask me, my friend.
What do Bravado do?
What do Bravado do? They write this one off for the next minute and 12 seconds. This game is obviously done. It has been since about a minute and 2 minutes in, let's be honest. Nothing here matters. Use this time to relax, use this time to get more used to the stage, you know, drink some water, feel good about yourself. You know, this is essentially free play for them right now. If they do manage to get a goal, somehow, forget the fact that it's setting up a Brazil. Brazils don't exist right now, as a Bravado have to tell themselves. A goal for them matters.
Don't tell the club that.
That's true, yeah, okay, right. I mean, yeah, there would be some irony if it is the club that get the Brazil. But yeah, just let this one go. This is their first real thrashing since being here. This is not the norm. You know, this is not the level of bravado that they've been showing against Renegades or against the club today.
opportunities like that from Daisy, who just went on to receive that pass, a brilliant pass as well from the ceiling, I believe, from To Die For. Daisy just jumping for it a little bit too late. It's those 10-20% that you just need to really trust. Daisy had boost, could have gone up earlier, just did not have the eye for it, the ambition for it, whatever it ends up being, and that's what you need to see. What do you lose by going for another one of the shots? What do you lose by missing this shot but still managing to make contact?
I mean,
Nothing.
one thing the commentary was pointing out when Bravado played yesterday was that a lot of their attacks, as Happy Meal goes up here, can he get one right at the end? Oh, not quite, that one's going to fall. A lot of their attacks could be seen as quite predictable because Renegades, they were pre-jumping them 2 minutes in advance, right?
Yeah.
I am desperate to see Bravado just take that touch. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Go for a 50-50, dribble with the ball, keep it there, let your teammates pick up some boost, even do a fake, you know, miss the ball. They're hitting everything very cleanly and purely, which is great. You have to have that in your locker, but as we have seen from Renegades, sometimes missing is good. Just ask Fury against Renegades.
I mean, yeah, like you say, taking it low, not just sending it straight back, holding on to that possession and then going for a 50. The only problem being in that situation, the club have KV1, and KV1 has made Bravado think. A timeout has been called. In these best-of-7 formats, you get 1 timeout per game. You have the standard 60-second break that you get regardless, and then you get another 60 seconds on top. Happy Meal taking the lead in this conversation.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, you can see from his body language, hands up, you know, he definitely had something to say there. He wants to get his team back in the game, because that was a, you know, they gave up a little bit, you know, halfway through that game. It just seemed to...
I'm sure they were already talking through stuff that now they're just expanding on now.
Exactly that. But it's good that they've taken that time out, you know. It can be tempting just to dive straight in, keep up the momentum and think, no, I'm comfortable, you know, my mechanics are all right. No, you still have to be able to take a step back. Any team up and down the hierarchy, Happy Meal is like, he really is stoic, isn't he? He is the calmest man in the room.
He is. I looked through a lot of interviews that he did as part of SSA and part of that broadcast. He came in for every interview, firstly. He is their front man. He's, you know, he's in the middle, he's got the flag around him, he's confident. He also, you know, is one of the older members of the team. He's making sure that he is the one who's taking that front step that we've seen from other teams as well. You know, like Com and Torment, for example, taking that over the top of beast mode. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a very, very good head on his shoulders. He knows what he has to say to his teammates. He knows how he can bring them up. They have been competitive at the end of this season in SSA. He's hoping that they can chat that through. But as well as Bravado having a timeout, the club, they also benefit from the extra minute.
Yeah, I mean, they're just chilling, they're relaxing. You know, they're vibing with those lights blaring up and down, turning off and on. I can actually see it reflecting on the roof up there to our right, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm going to be completely honest, mate. I did not realise they were just there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of black curtains surrounding us right now.
It's a bit of a maze.
It is a little bit, but the maze has to be found its way out of, and that is exactly what Bravado need to do right now. They need that solution. They need to pass their way to a victory. They are up against it. They really, really are. The club are a terrifying opponent to go up against.
Nah, this is where they improve, okay? This is where they get a couple of goals. We saw it yesterday against Renegades. Bravado are capable of scoring. They are capable of getting a game. Everyone has been saying they are more than able to get a game or two. This is where it's going to start. I have that belief. I think, you know, the Happy Meal talking to will have helped them a lot. Yep. They're already defending a lot better. There was a bit of an air dribble there in defense, and To Die For stayed in front of the ball, and now they can approach forwards. This is the best start Bravado have had in any of these games.
Lost though, trying to beat out To Die For in the middle. Daisy missing, To Die For touching it again. One of the touches that ends up just being, well, I hit it because I can, not that I should have done. Sent high from KV1, managing to get over towards To Die For, but the challenge coming out from Happy Meal. I love the idea of that, but Daisy, the pace was a little bit too fast on it from Astromic's dunk, and manages to get the opening goal in 42 seconds.
Yeah, it was a good dunk there from Astromic over the top, and Daisy was just a little bit stuck. I think KV1 was following him as well, putting pressure on him. You don't always have to be hitting the ball to be able to force the goal in Rocket League, and that was a great example of exactly that from KV1. Giving the club the lead, but there has been an improvement from Bravado at the start of this game. They'll be able to continue to step up. Can they defend this one from KV1 first? Good challenge from Happy Meal. They are double committing again, though, in defense. That's the main problem they have now. They're desperate to get the ball, which I like, but they have to keep talking to each other.
They're going to try and clear that ball away as fast as they can. Will it be in a good position? That time, no. Astromic yet again holding on to the opportunity, managing to take that ball touch down nicely, double tapping off the side, and the demo flexing their 4 demos per game. The club starting to remove Bravado from the pitch.
Yeah, just when Bravado was starting to try and step up the pace, the club are taking them off the pitch, which is very tough to deal with, but again, is showing us the repertoire that the club have in an attacking sense. I'm sure, as we'll see later on in this tournament when they come up against other teams, assuming they, well, even if they don't win this, they'll be playing other teams in the Swiss. I'm sure we will see the club using that tactic. So really interesting thing about the club there, that they can switch up their approach. It's not just solo plays, it's also demos and such. That's good from Bravado. Daisy's impressed me. I think as far as pacing goes, he's been the one that's dealt with the club the best.
Daisy has also changed car from the Octane, going over towards that Fennec, purely because I just saw that there was less colour on the pitch. And to die for, that block coming in, but it was not enough to stave away from the attack from the club. KV1 dribbling it round the side, a really strong 50 from him, but lost yet again. Just waiting on the sidelines, didn't pass it that time, instead wanted to deliver the 3rd goal.
I think all these double commits from Bravado, I'm just getting the sense. Great kickoff from Daisy to die for, is going to put it away for Bravado. They get their goal from the kickoff. Will that inspire them?
On their cameras, not looking too crazy, knowing, look, boys, let's get the job done. Like, we still need to get 2 more just to get it to an even game. I love that they're locked in. They are set in this one.
I love no perfect sweep. Just like yesterday, I do not want a perfect sweep between these newer regions. You know, it's just not what you want to see. So Bravado getting on the scoreboard, that is locked in now. That is eternal.
Daisy then had an opportunity to go for a bump, one of the final defenders, but it's KV1 now going up high, and then actually faking. That is brilliant from KV1. They don't want to talk about Daisy anymore, not going for a bump. Look at this movement. Sends it on the backboard, and then just ducks away from it. Actually does get a touch technically, but very much going for that fake. Drops down, Astromic, the man behind the curtain, punching through and landing one in the middle of the face.
Bravado got to keep on going. Got their goal. You know, that will change the dynamic. That will hopefully bring some joy to their comms. I just want to see these double commits get sorted. You know, if the club score 5 goals, 6 goals, 7 goals, 8 goals, that's okay, as long as they are defending as well as they can do. And I think what I was going to say earlier before they got the kickoff goal was that I was starting to detect maybe a lack of trust. The amount of times you'd see a player going for a challenge and someone else would be dodging in behind them.
Yeah.
You just have to believe that they're going to win the 50-50 because, you know, even if they do okay in the 50-50, if you've dived in, their good 50-50 becomes a bad one. So you have to keep that faith in your teammates.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to do that in a setting that you've not been to before. Bravado, this is, to my knowledge, their first international lap. They're so new to the RLCS that this is completely alien to them. But a good movement up pitch by Daisy. Lovely. Nearly chance to come in for to dive for, but Halfmil sending towards the side. Unfortunately, runs into traffic in the way of 2 blaring orange cars from the club, and so possession has to be taken to the opposite side of the pitch to die for. Managing to go for one. I love that Halfmil went underneath that because die for was only earning a 50 and the shot was the better situation there. Astromic finding KV1 on that right-hand wing. Daisy backboard. Good learning because there's been a good few shots that have come in from the backboard. Daisy managing to take it low as well. Can he get this central? He does so with brilliant speed. A shot now to die for. Can he shoot? He does it weakly, but that is better than we have seen through the first 3 games.
So much better from Bravado. The best single passage of play that they have had. Daisy at the heart of everything. His first touch is sublime.
That touch as well from Daisy, going low, forcing the pre-jump from the club.
Daisy's going to keep on going. Look at him, he's going on the end of everything now. It doesn't matter if KV1 tackles him because Happy Meal is starting to believe in his teammate. He's following through to die for's in the middle. It's not quite going to fall for him, but Bravado have the pressure at this point.
Tell you what, I just saw Astromic go for a pre-jump and the ball didn't find him for a good 5 seconds. It burned boost, it made it awkward. Happy Meal, can he get up to that? No, Daisy does it instead, taking the possession because otherwise KV1 just sends that one far to die for, going central with that ball. KV1 to go high. Is anybody going to meet him? Yes, and Happy Meal with the speed is able to get there first. This second half of the game has been considerably closer. That timeout working wonders.
Yeah, they are so powerful timeouts. Up and down the Rocket League land, you see someone takes one and suddenly they're looking like a team transformed. It actually took 3 the club goals to transform Bravado, but something just switched, and that is what can happen. The more you play, the more chances you have, the more you start to believe. Happy Meal's closing down Astromic. More defending from the club. They're having to do too much defending for their liking.
Yeah, finally being able to you know, get a couple of awkward chances. Lost though, getting I think a triple flip reset in defense, trying to get that one away. A shot coming out again for Bravado, going central. That ball awkward as Stromic clears it away. 30 boost in the sky. Lost. He just has to clear it to anybody. Finally comes back down towards Bravado. Chance for another push.
Happy Meal just trusted his teammate as well. To Die For was going in there. Those were the moments that were forcing double commits earlier on. Now Bravado are starting to space out the pitch so much better, and it's leaving less options for the club to just clear it long and get that next touch.
Final 5 seconds, the club do win in game number 3, but the goal and the passages of play that we witnessed were miles better, much more convincing. The teams working close with the club, they need to keep their head on their shoulders.
They look at as well, they looked a little bit more flustered after that game than they have for the previous.
Still confident,
but not smiling, not turning to their coach and having a laugh about it. I mean, that was one where you win and you go, whew, because they know they were in a match there. In the latter half of that game, they were in a match 100%. So that's just credit to Bravado. I'm so impressed by Daisy. I know that To Die For is the man who has the MVP on his shoulders. I know that Happy Meal is the leader, but Daisy's the one who stood out for me on the pitch.
Yeah, Daisy, you know, I think he looked to be taking those touches. He looked to be sending it down and just making sure that, you know, let's take it slower. Guys, we don't need to keep booming it. What are we doing? The possession is going to do us better. A couple of passes coming in. Great ideas coming through for Bravado. Their coach certainly having a word with them, saying, stop sending it long. Let's take it close, bring it to the chest, and then get the 50 and work off from that.
I mean, these are great players. I was reading that some of these SSA players, they've arrived here in North America as Grand Champ 2, just because there are fewer games to be had in the ranked leaderboards in SSA, not as a sort of a mention of their skill,
I mean,
right?
you see that in OCE as well, just
exactly. They do the same thing. And apparently they've been grinding up to top 100, just on the ranked leaderboards. They are easily high-level players. It's just, this is such a different world. You know, you can do something at home and you can be amazing at it. You can come and try and do it in front of thousands of people or tens of thousands watching online, and it suddenly feels really difficult. Yeah. Pressure is a real thing, and that's why Bravado are growing into these series, and that's why that communication remains so important. They have to keep talking. This is their last chance in this series to get something on the board. It's
a different landscape entirely, completely right, and the club, they want to be keeping that landscape moving, because these tectonic plates, are they starting to shift? To Die For going low on that ball as well. KV1 going for a very interesting pre-jump for being caught out. Bravado, are we seeing something special?
Oh, that could have been a pass there from Daisy to Die For. Would have been risky, of course. The infield can always backfire, but you have to start taking those risks if you want to get these goals against a team as good as the club. That one's coming in off the crossbar. A huge finish from Astromic.
You see that ball cam just as it flies over the top of Daisy's head. Suddenly, whiplash. Astromic shoots, it comes down, and wrong place, wrong time at the end of the day. It could have bounced any direction. We've seen the top teams in the world do that at the Spring Major. Not a massive issue, but the shot from Astromic, it was perfect.
Lost is going to be challenged here by Happy Meal. He gets it past him towards Astromic again after that finish. Daisy takes a touch. It's turning into a real theme of this series. His flick's not quite there, but again, you don't have to get the flick perfect because there's To Die For. Bravado are on the attack now, and a demo helps them out.
Yeah, that demo from Daisy opening up the back line and returned. Happy Meal being removed from the pitch. Manages to get away to that right-hand wall. Daisy going for a shot downfield with the 100 boost grab. Happy Meal with a filthy pre-jump. Going into the pass, but Daisy joining him in the air. Not the best place to be. Lost getting rid of Daisy and then going for just a horrifying transition through that midfield, taking to the skies, trying to get those bumps.
Poor old Happy Meal was on an airplane in search of some boost there, but what a pass that was from To Die For to Daisy. Bravado, for the first time in this series, get an equaliser.
To Die For working his way down the pitch, catches it, sees Daisy in the midfield. KV1 thought he could outspeed him. Not on their watch. Astromic was not in the situation to save it away. Bravado draw level with the club.
There was space there for Bravado earlier. The infield pass was refused. That time it was not, and that's such a good kickoff as well. To Die For, he tries to get over the top of KV1. He gets it over the top of KV1. Bravado take the lead in game 4. Amazing.
From the kickoff yet again, certainly getting these strats going. Manages to go just round the side of To Die For. Sorry, rather the defender KV1. Should he have got a touch? Probably. Do Bravado care? Not all, even slightly. Bravado lead over the club in game number 4.
Yeah, they do not give a Scooby. It doesn't matter at all. To Die For, he's going to send that one high. The club suddenly find themselves behind. Can they get the redirect, or is Daisy already up? He is. There's a good boost grab there from Lost. Astromik coming into the corner. Where's the defense? Will there be a keeper? No, there won't. It's an equalizer from the club. Good play from them to get back.
But the club having to really work for that goal as well. Daisy just moving a little bit too far up. As the final defender, you can't do that. You need to keep your composure on that back line.
It reminds me a little bit of how in 1v1, you know, when a player goes in for early challenges, they get a couple of free goals, but then the other player learns that's what they're doing, and they flick it over the top of them about 5 times. I feel like that's the point in this game where Bravado needs to just switch up and slow down a tad, because the club are going to start anticipating those early moves forwards and just take that extra touch or boom it a little bit further than they normally would. So time to tweak your game plan, Bravado, because it has got you so much joy.
3 minutes remaining in game number 4 and level, Bravado and the club. Game's sure going the other way. Chance for Tidefor to score on that one because the club defense beginning to break down. Double touch, trying to come in for Daisy, but cleared away by Astromik. Chance for a shot again. They are rolling in time and time again. Opportunity, Daisy getting the dunk. Astromik has to clear it long, and a panicked clear gives possession back to Bravado.
I mean, they have done really well, the club, though, to keep boosted. Look at Astromik in the air. Anthony goes out there in the corner. Lost is there to dive for Daisy, and I don't know who that was. It was KV1 as well, in for a race. Going to be some defending to do. There's a little fake there from Astromik. Going to get around the corner, not quite that time. And then KV1 and Happy Meal. The challenge is won. Lost is coming in this time. The club want to put this one to bed. They have to regain their lead. They will not be enjoying not being ahead of Bravado right now. Happy Meal loses that to Astromik. This could be the goal. Astromik gets a little doink, but it's met by Tidefor.
Tangles himself up, and Tidefor can work his way in the left-hand wing for Happy Meal, but nothing coming from it. Tidefor going central and go for a solo play as opposed to passing off to Daisy. The passes have been working, Bravado. Don't be going solo necessarily. Daisy up for the double touch, isn't able to clear that one into the goal. KV1 instead going towards the midfield. Tidefor passing back, 100 boost taken. Tidefor, he wants to have his name up in lights in the sky. Daisy is received. Daisy shoots low, and Daisy is destructive.
That is such a beauty. Look at the air dribble there from Tidefor over the top of Astromik, and then there was Daisy. The man who scored the first goal for Bravado in this tournament has given them the lead for the 3rd time in this tournament.
Astromik sweating, genuinely wiping sweat from his brow. The club, with 90 seconds left, may well be losing their first game, and SSA may well be securing their own. To Tidefor, not able to get the flip reset over, but so much threat.
These are the stories that these emerging regions can bring us. The club on the cusp of losing the first ever game to an SSA team in the RLCS, but SSA, Bravado, they're going to have to do some more defending. The club is here. KV1 in the corner. Daisy, he's got it past him. It's going to be in from KV1, and that is how quickly it can be ripped away from you.
KV1 entering into a 2v1 and winning all of it. Gets the touch off the side, and the club drawing level yet again. But Bravado, they have been bringing it back. A kickoff. This is where they have historically thrived.
Smiles from the aptly named Happy Meal. He is saying, don't worry, boys, we still got this one. Have to survive the kickoff, though. There is Happy Meal. He gets it to the side. Now he's going to come up again against Astromik. Beautiful play from Astromik to the air. He goes. Daisy gets that one to the corner. Who's going to be there? No one. The fake was well timed. Happy Meal gets a touch over the top. There is a pass. It's Tidefor. He finds it, but Tidefor's taken out. Great play from the club.
Excellent demo, and now it pushes back down on the other side. Bravado having the pressure, having that vice start to really grip on them. Astromik, the man on the top right of your screens, delivering death on the net on Utopia.
Oh, what a read that is. I mean, that is almost impossible to defend against, especially if you are a little bit low on boost and coming at the ball with no momentum. The club, I mean, you said there was sweat on their brows earlier. They will be mightily relieved to escape Utopia with a dub.
But there's still 35 seconds left, and with Bravado having chances, especially after they just keep coming back over and over again, this is by no means closed out. Astromik having to send that towards the backboard, and KV1 rotating around, able to get it towards Lost on the left-hand wing. Going to get it around side of Happy Meal, not quite, but again, Happy Meal has been repeatedly on 0 boost. Daisy going for the opportunities to get the shots off. Final 15.
Lost is going to go high. Happy Meal is up there. Can he challenge him? It's more backboard play. Astromik there. It's over, though. This could be a chance for Tidefor. Has to take a touch against KV1. Rushed it somewhat. That could have been the moment, but they could get another one.
Chances with the final 3 seconds, keeps it high. Happy Meal again on 0. Astromik shooting wide on the net. It lands Happy Meal and both Tidefor. dribbling again around each other. Halfmill flicking towards the net is not able to score that one away. Astromic with an incredibly safe touch flicks it towards the ground. An elevation coming from Bravado, but this peak too much to surmount.
The club say, phew.
Phew.
They say, woo!